can find my PayPal, Cash App, and Amazon wish list all in the description box below if you wanted to be able to donate or if you wanted to be able to purchase a question. And I really hope you guys enjoy this reading. Hope everybody's week has been good. It's been a little chaotic collectively, I feel like, the last about month or two. But there's really been a lot of blessings in there as well. If you can stop to look at the blessings instead of focusing on some of the more chaotic things going on. And let's get started on this reading today. So I feel like you're coming to terms with and coming to peace with some of the things that have happened in the past, really being able to let go and allow things to play out the way that they are meant to play out. There may even be some distances that are going to be bridged or some gaps that are going to be filled in some sort of way. There could definitely have been some sort of, hi, beautiful. How are you today? There definitely was some things that you've dealt with in the past that, thank you. I'm glad to be back. I really enjoy doing the live readings every week, and there was definitely a lot less energy put towards my channel this last week with everything going on, but I am really glad that things are starting to get back to normal. I got my carburetor pulled out and put back in like 3 times because I had to do it like 3 times. And I'm hoping that solves the problem of it dumping gas everywhere. If it doesn't, I'm going to have to take it out again and we're going to have to replace the needle in it. Anyway, so there's definitely something that you're feeling very curious about right now, thinking about kind of reaching out and touching, thinking about taking some sort of action on, and you're being nudged to take this action. In the past, there have been a lot of people that have created trust issues through things that they have done or things that they've said. And a lot of it has to do with how we handled those situations as well. And you've learned a lot, you've grown a lot, and you really are capable of handling situations much better at this time than you were in the past. I feel like there may have been a lot of fights or arguments, a lot of drama or chaos. It could have been like dealing with people that were like a brick wall, basically, and just when you looked in the mirror, you might have went, wait a second, maybe I'm a bit of a brick wall myself because I've built up this wall to protect myself. And that could be part of the reason why I'm attracting people who have this giant wall in front of them trying to protect themselves, is because I've been doing some of that myself. And sometimes when we are in that energy, we really don't realize some of the things that we do during that. And you might start realizing that some of the things that you have done may be very similar to some of those things that you've dealt with other people as well. Hi, beautiful. Nice to see you again. So, you're definitely going to be, there is some sort of nudging from the universe that is letting you know that in the near future there is some situation that's going to be coming into your life that you're going to be very curious about, but you may be a little bit on the fence of whether or not you should explore this. And they're telling you that this is somebody that you can trust, and you're going to be healing a lot of the heartbreak that you have dealt with or gone through this experience. That doesn't mean that it's going to be something that lasts forever. It may be, but what it is it is something to trigger that healing and that wholeness within yourself that may have been lost. It could even be as simple as losing all your stuff when you decided to take a few things over to somebody's house and then they just fucking disappear and freak out, and you end up losing a bunch of your stuff. Well, you may end up dealing with somebody that things don't work out, but at the end of the day, they brought your stuff back and they're like, I wanted to make sure you got this back. I wanted to make sure everything's good. And they're not looking to just take off and never be seen or heard from again, or whatever the case may be. If you're like dealing with abandonment issues, or if you're dealing with issues where you trust somebody and then they just end up screwing you over, or they end up ghosting out on you or breadcrumbing you, or whatever the case may be, there is going to be some different energy coming in the near future. Because you're different at this point. You've changed a lot from where you were before. And that doesn't mean that you weren't amazing then, but that means that you're different now. and there's going to be different experiences coming in. So let's see what else our guides want to talk about today. Thank you. It's good to see you as well. Well, I think I may have already said that, but yeah, you know what I mean. Anyway, so Katy Perry, Dark Horse, Cheshire Kitten, We're All Mad Here by J.J. Tucker. There are many new opportunities in front of you. You have ended things no longer serving your highest good, walked away from the illusions, worked hard to overcome self defeating behaviors. But you may be having a hard time trusting or opening up again. It's time to bring your passions and emotions into balance, to open up to the gray area. Get out more and open up more. Allow your heart to guide you, but not on impulse. I did have a good time at the circus. It was really small, but it was pretty awesome still. There was somebody who did tightrope walking, and there was a contortionist who was able to bend her body all kinds of weird ways. And there was a guy that was dressed as Superman that was basically doing what you do with batons, but with giant boxes like made from bars and different types of those things. It was cool. Anyway, and when you listen to the song Katy Perry, Dark Horse, when you lead her on, her heart her heart turns as cold as a freezer. So you could have been going into that cold mode as well. You may have been doing it differently than other people around you were doing it, or people that you were dealing with were doing it. But it's that same going into that cold energy and just shutting everything off because things didn't work out the way that you wanted it to work out. And so while you were doing that in your own way, they were doing it in their own way, but it is all the same thing. And it all breaks down to the same issues that you've had in the past with abandonment issues or things like that, where you feel like if things don't work out the way you wanted them to work out, then they can't work out at all. And so you sabotage any kind of anything you could have had remaining in that connection because of that, or they do. And it's kind of a mutual thing where people are mirroring. Rebel with a cause. This is reminding me of, so the whole situation going on with being kicked out of this parking lot, which has been free parking in this town for a lot of years. This has been somewhere where people could park overnight or whatever the case may be for years. And this is the last place in town that they allowed us to be at, and now they're trying to shut that down and make it to where there's no parking here either. And they gave a plot to one of the people like 2 miles out of town so that people can stay there. And I didn't go out there. They also put a regulation on, oh, there can only be 10 people there. Oh, it can only be people who are lifelong Emmett people. Well, I'm not a lifelong Emmett person either. So there's another thing. But basically, they created that space. The other day, the cops were over here and they decided to use warrants that were cleared up 2 months ago as an excuse to search and arrest somebody over here. And those warrants were already taken care of and cleared up, which 10 minutes later when they released him, they found out about. But when all of that happened, the lady who was running that homeless camp started yelling something at the cop about, well, when are you going to start ticketing these people over here, and basically throwing me under the bus along with anybody else over here because they're still here. And so last night she didn't have enough gas to make it back out to the plot that's 2 miles out of town, and she decided to stay here too. So, and we also had other people move in like 2 nights ago who are from out of town and have a couple vehicles over here. So we have extra people staying here than we did before they put up the signs. I did talk to the cops the other morning and let them know that, hey, I need to be able to fix my RV so I can move it out of here. And that's what I'm working on. So about a couple days on that front for myself. But yeah, now there's actually more people staying here than there was before. And they may just end up with something along the lines of the tent city that happened in Boise over here if they start trying to make people move. I don't know. But rebel with a cause. It was pretty cool. You wish that I'd stay in the lines, but inside my heart it whines. Do this, do that, it's always your say. Nothing could ever be another way. Conformity is what you wish of me, but authenticity is all you'll see. Being outcast supposed to make me change. You can't handle me at free range. I don't live by the rules that you make. I could never be so fake. Alas, you find me here alone, but still my skills I will hone. A sharpened blade for the day when you realize you can't take my voice away. 9/28/21. So, you're definitely looking to stand up for and fight for a cause that you believe in. And if you're being drawn towards that or led towards that, it's time to really put your full heart and your full effort into that and to really express how you're truly feeling and stand up for what you truly believe in instead of allowing things to just be the way they are because other people want you to leave it alone or whatever the case may be. You don't need to fit inside the boxes that other people have for you to pack yourself away in. You don't need to be identical to all the clones around you. What you need to do is be yourself and fight for what you believe in. Finally home to myself. There is no more shadow work to be done. Finally, this painful, hard fought battle is won. I have overcome all the past pain. I feel it wash over like a cleansing rain. Arms stretched out to the Most High, gratitude for my ability to fly. Proud of myself for not giving in. I have earned this victory, worked hard for the win. So it's time to start feeling like you've earned the recognition, you've earned the stability, you've earned everything that you have worked hard for that you have at this moment, you have earned. Regardless of what anybody wants to think about it or say about it or how you feel about it, you have earned everything that you have going on right now. And you have earned everything coming your way. And it's time to be open and receptive and allow that all to come in and fall into your lap where it is meant to be. And sometimes that is extremely hard to do. It is really hard to say, oh, I have everything that I've worked for when I don't quite have it yet. But that is what's going to lead you to having it. That is what is manifesting it in for you. And you've already put in the work, the effort, the energy, the time, the patience, the persistence, the commitment and dedication towards your goals and your dreams. And now it is just allowing yourself to let it unfold, allowing it to come in for you and visualizing it and manifesting it and bringing it into creation. Manifestation isn't just a magic wand that you can wave and it's right there, but that is a part of it. That part of it is as important as the work that goes into it and the faith that is put into it. That faith is that manifestation. I will say too that it seems like there has been an awful lot more traffic flow through here the last few days as well, like they're watching. Jesus might be your Lord, but he's not mine. Thank you. Hidden depths beneath the twilight, buried beneath the ocean blue, looking for the sight of you. Face the shadow, find the light. Let hope fill you at the sight. From the murky depths, release the past. Discard the remaining pain at last. Let faith and hope fill you full. Don't disregard the pull. Listen to what the stars say to you. The messages they send are true. Destiny calls today for you to co-create your way. I believe in my mother and my father. I believe in many different things. And it's funny how many contradictions you can find in that book. I'm going to start listing some of them. Like the fact that astrology is evil and astronomy is evil. Oh, but guess what? Magicians of people of my religion, magicians were the ones who predicted Jesus coming. So they were fortune tellers who were also astrologers and astronomers who followed a star to get there. Yet those people are evil. I don't believe in that religion. I don't care what you have to say. Go away. You're not welcome here. Sorry. But anybody who is judgmental and doesn't have respect for everybody else's views and wants to prove that they're just right can go away. Sorry, but that's the way it is. reporting harassment, guys. Anybody who wants to come on here and tell me that my beliefs are wrong or anything of the sort. I've already been told that I work for the devil several times. I've already been told that I'm evil and all that other kind of stuff, and I don't need that shit in my life. Luckily, I don't believe them. Be at one with the still of the night. Connect to your intuition. Every darkness has a light. It's a balance. Sometimes you just have to look deeper to see it. So, every shadow has a light, and every light has a shadow. So, any good quality about yourself has bad qualities that can come from it. And any bad quality that comes from it, no, it doesn't. I'm reporting your harassment because you're here harassing me on my channel. So, I am reporting your harassment. So, go away. Thank you. That's not false reporting. That's real reporting. Anyway, every light you have has a shadow quality, and every shadow you have has a light quality. When it comes to charisma, charisma is seen as something that is very much a light quality. But manipulation is charisma, and that's seen as something that is a very shadow quality. They are the same thing. In essence, they came from the same gifts, but they're used in different ways, and the intentions behind them are different. And sometimes people don't even know that they are using them in bad ways either. So that's why it's really important to take into account that hurt people hurt people. That doesn't excuse the behavior of hurt people, but what it does is give you a reason behind why people are behaving the way that they are. They're behaving that way because of the hurt that they've gone through, the pain that they've gone through, the ways they've learned how to survive, the ways they've learned how to deal with the world around them. I'll put it this way. There was somebody that stayed in my trailer a couple nights about a week ago, and they were talking all kinds of mad shit about all these things they're going to do, and I knew they were full of shit. Who wouldn't know they were full of shit? But I've realized that this is no bullshit. This is no bullshit. When people start saying that, most of the time they're talking a bunch of shit. Anyway, I've met 3 different people who have that same line and they do the same shit. But basically, he said something about making sure to grab something for my daughter the next day that she needed. And then he just disappeared the next day and I didn't see him for a few days. I showed back up yesterday and I did not invite him to come spend the night. The other 2 times I invited him because I knew he had nowhere to stay. And I mentioned something about him having nowhere else to stay. And you know what? It's better than the sidewalk. And I'm glad I could provide you a bed tonight because I have an extra bed here anyway. And, oh, well, I could be staying somewhere else. Sure, you could be. That was a lie as well. And so last night he was waiting on me to invite him and I did not invite him. We said our goodnights. I came inside and a little while later he came to my door and knocked on it and he's like, is it okay if I come in and crash here? Because, I'm getting kind of tired of the sprinklers out here in the place that I'm sleeping. And I was like, you're more than welcome to come in and lay down. Just don't be talking shit that you're not actually going to fulfill because that's not okay. I won't be. Okay, good. And you know what? Sometimes that happens, but that's the way it is. This is harassment and I'm reporting you again. It's harassment when you repeatedly come in and start attacking somebody on their own channel. That is harassment, whether you like it or not. That is bullying, whether you like it or not. When somebody says no, that means no. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. Whether we're talking about believing in your religion or whether we're talking about raping somebody. When somebody says no, that means no. That means go away. That means I am not interested in what you have to offer, so leave me alone. And if you continue to do it, that is harassment. That is bullying. Regardless of what you may try to convince yourself, that's what you're doing. Goodbye. You're not welcome here. Get off my channel. What attack? Your attack. That's what attack. So, transformation is coming in for you. You're really starting to heal a lot of the past pain and a lot of the past hurt. A lot of this may have to do with allowing yourself to cry it out and release it. Letting go of the things that have hurt you and that have brought you down, and really being able to hop out of that cocoon as that beautiful butterfly. You may be coming back to life after a long dormancy period where you may have kept yourself away from a lot of the world because of the hurt and pain that you were going through. You've really learned throughout this time period how to be more flexible, how to be more adaptable, how to go with the flow, and how to just enjoy your life. And really, you are putting those lessons to use in coming back out to join the world. Some of you could have already done this as well. The strength and courage to be able to face new situations, and also being able to bring peace, harmony, and balance to situations that need it at this time as well. Being able to bridge that gap like we were talking about at the beginning, and being able to take the steps to do that with no fear or doubt. Really having a lot of faith and trust in the path you're being guided down. And the path I've been guided down is this one, which is why I stand firm in it. There needs to be a balance and an equality created in this world that was stolen 3,500 years ago. There used to be a lot more respect for every creature on this planet, including the planet itself, when we had deities that represented the women, the men, the children, the animals, the earth, and people actually respected and cared for everything on it instead of feeling like only men were to be respected and treated good. There's a lot of balance coming into your life, a lot of new partnerships, a lot of new friendships, a lot of happiness and joy, and a lot of just being able to enjoy yourself in general. There's a lot of emotional stability that you have gained, and a lot of mastery over the shadow side within you that has caused a lot of pain and misery in your life. And you've really learned how to work through and grow through a lot of the trauma and the pain of the past so that you can really repair things in your life and with the people that you're connected to. So, in between messages, if you'd like to donate or purchase a question, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you that do that. Thank you so much for that. And let's see what other messages our guides have for us today. Return to sender. Anyone attacking me, return to sender. Any curses you cast on me fall on you for all to see. Any negative energy you send my way, it's all returned to you today. Your curses are as powerful as you. You really need to get a clue. My beauty is mine to hold. I am not the one who looks old. My outsides match my insides shine. You can't take what is mine. I am protected for all to see. You're exposed and it sets me free. Your lying lips no longer speak unless it's truth you intend to squeak. I thank you, ancestors, for your light. I ask you now to join this fight. My light is too bright for you to bear. You are dumbstruck and can only stare. Lost your touch, power's gone. I am not your willing pawn. I am not a player in your game. You and I are not the same. I hold power over me and mine. You have none. Read the sign. I cast you out of my energetic field. Protective walls are now sealed. Happiness is a choice. Who should I please at the end of the day, throwing chaos in the fray? I choose myself to please and I'm at ease, for I know tomorrow there'll be no regrets, as most people are building the sets, made for actors come to play. I'll still be here after that day. I choose the road of far too few. I refuse to give my happiness to you. In pleasing others, dreams go to die. You only wind up living a lie. If I die tomorrow, I will know. So much harvest my seeds will sow. I chose my purpose and went over your head. I will never truly be dead. So, happiness is a choice. You can choose to give your power away to the people who want to attack you and abuse you and treat you like you're garbage, the people who want to harass you or bully you, the people who want to stomp on you or treat you like you're nothing, the people who want to be creating chaos, drama, and conflict in your life. You can give your power to them by choosing to be in that conflict, that chaos, that drama, that negative, lower vibrational energy, that anger, that bitterness, that hurt, that pain. You can give that to them, or you can pull your power back to yourself. And you can tell yourself it doesn't matter what they think, it doesn't matter what they say, it doesn't matter what they believe. I am who I am, and I am worthy, I am valuable, I am amazing, and my messages that I bring are something that are very important and meant to be seen. So, choose your own happiness and choose being the person that makes you feel best, regardless of what anybody else thinks that you should be doing. Kind of like with the Christian religion. Some people find peace by going to that religion. I found peace by leaving it. And that's where I stand. And people can think whatever they like. And they can tell me I'm going to go to hell, but I'm not going to hell. And I am not the person that is evil. I am here spreading love, light, joy, happiness, and people and love to people's lives. And that is an important message to bring. So I can't allow the haters to stop me from being able to bring that message. Really moving away from the darkness of the past, leaving behind a worldly view of everything in this world is so evil, harsh, cruel, cold. All the people are just evil, harsh, cruel, and cold. I was talking to somebody the other day that was talking about how she has just stopped talking to people at all because everybody's just cruel and evil, and there's been so many people who have hurt her. Her husband still has a tendency to go around and talk to everybody and meet everybody, and, you know, he's a really amazing man, actually. He's a really good guy. And most people would probably walk right past him thinking he was the scourge of this earth because he's a homeless person. And because his homeless stuff doesn't look great, it's all falling apart. He actually had people steal tires off of his trailer the other day. You have people stealing tires off of the trailer of a homeless person. What kind of shit is that? But it is very true. And yes, there is some very cruel, awful, evil things in this world, but there is also some beauty, light, love, joy, happiness, good people that are there to just talk to you, that aren't there to judge you, that aren't there to force you to believe what they want you to believe, that aren't there to only help you if you'll play by their rules, that aren't there to stomp on you or look down on you. There are people that are there that accept you, that love you, that care for you, that are kind, that are amazing and beautiful. And you know this because that's inside of you. And if you start seeing that inside of you, you will start to see that around you everywhere you look. So don't allow the burdens of this world to weigh you down so fully. You've really taken the initiative to step into this energy of learning, of growing, of expanding your mind and your knowledge on a lot of ideas or concepts, on a lot of things that you're interested in. And you're really being observed very heavily at this time. Your hard work, your dedication is going to be being recognized, is going to be being seen. And you are going to be seeing it first, because you will not be able to see that recognition from anywhere else in the world until you start seeing that recognition from yourself. There's been a lot of people that you've been there to help. There's been a lot of things that you have done that are amazingly good in this world, and those things are going to be coming back to you. There's a lot of people who remember you that you may not even know, that you may not even remember. There was one time where there was a person that I had talked to 10 years prior, and they came to me telling me, I remember you from 10 years ago, and what you said in that moment changed my life dramatically. And I am so grateful to you for that. And then they asked if I remembered them, and I always hate when people do that sometimes, because I have talked to thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people just in the last decade, let alone the last 20 years. And I don't necessarily remember each and every person, especially when it's been 10 years, and especially when I only talked to them for like 15 minutes while I was on vacation. And so I did not remember that person. And I was like, but that's nothing about you. That's just because I've dealt with a lot of people. They kind of got butthurt about it and upset about it, never contacted me again, type of thing. But that happens sometimes. And it has nothing to do with me that they decided to be that way either. It has to do with how they were feeling about themselves. Took a few moments of silence to just clear my energy from that BS and drama that was going on there. Anyway, you're learning to act and be present in a state of poise, grace, dignity, integrity. You're really starting to put out that energy that you want mirrored back to you from the universe as well. People are watching this and noticing this as well, and there's a lot of recognition coming your way. There may even be a lot of people that want to take the time out to help you in some sort of way with the goals that you are trying to achieve, because they see that you are looking to make this world a better place. And the energy that you are putting out there is a very beautiful, calm, peaceful, loving, light filled energy, and that energy is coming back to you as well. It's a very different energy than you may have been attracting in the past before you put in all this effort and attention to create the changes you have in your life and in your energy. So, between messages, if anybody wanted to be able to donate or or buy a question, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below. Truly appreciate each and every one of you that does anything to help this channel or support this channel, whether it's through monetary means or through liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing on this channel or my other one. Really, thank you guys so much for that. It all helps me out so much, and I really appreciate you guys. You mean the world to me. So let's see. Reparenting. Exactly. Taking that pause and taking that break to just take a few deep breaths really helps you out. And I also noticed that the energy had shifted quite a lot. So I was like, you know what? I just need to let go of that, release it. Karma can balance the scales, and I'm just going to deal with what I got in front of me, because this is the energy I want to be in. I don't want to be in that energy. And so, yeah, that's where I'm going to be, regardless of what energy anybody wants to put me in to try to prove their case. Reparenting, a purpose and reason, all in its season. You were made for something great. Others' opinions shouldn't rate. You're amazing as you are. Knowing this will get you far. There's nothing here for me to say. How will you know without a new day? The sun always comes back out. The storm will clear. Sometimes you just need a good pout. Then I want you to stand up straight. Set aside all of this self hate. You deserve some love in your life. I know that you are facing so much strife. If no one is there to give it to you, do what no one else is there to do. Self soothing has lost its popularity, but see it now with new clarity. This is why we need to be taught, so when we're alone by darkness, we won't be caught. And some people get so upset when you're able to self soothe as well, like, oh, they don't need me. But here's the thing, you were able to self soothe and you learned how to do that because of having to face a lot of things on your own. And if your parents would have allowed you to cry by yourself in the crib for a few minutes, you might have learned that then. But it's something that everyone needs to know how to do. Native Americans actually used to put their kids on those boards. I can't remember what they're called right now. And they would hang them from a tree while they were hunting or gathering, because there was a lot of things that they needed to do to be able to prepare for the day. So you couldn't just be carrying around your child with you everywhere. Sometimes they were on their back, but sometimes they were on that tree. And a lot of that also had to do with giving them that strength on their own. Reparenting yourself can be very hard to do, especially if you never learned how to self soothe. But it can be done even then. Taking that time alone for you is very important. It's very important for you to be able to deal with and work through the emotions that you have going on inside of you, so that you're not relying on and dependent on other people to take care of those for you, and vice versa. It is very important for them to learn how to take care of themselves too, which means as an empath, you can be toxic too. Like we were talking about earlier, Every light thing has a shadow, and every shadow thing has a light. Empaths have a shadow too. And that shadow is creating codependency in other people, as in needing you for that emotional validation and for that emotional bumper board or whatever you want to call it, where they come to you for every single thing that ever goes wrong in their life instead of feeling like they can take care of it on their own. And sometimes you got to tell them, look, I have already given you all the information, all the wisdom, all the knowledge I have, and now you need to put it to use in your life. You know how to deal with this situation. Ask yourself, how do I deal with this situation? And now deal with it, because you have the ability inside of you to deal with it. And that makes people strong. That is a version of tough love that is very necessary to creating a strong person. You can't create a strong person if they're continually dependent on you. And you create that codependency by allowing them to use your strength every time they need strength instead of stepping into their own. And vice versa. Standing in your own strength instead of feeling like you need others' strength to get you through. And sometimes we do all need that. But there's a lot of things that we could get through on our own. And sometimes the universe puts us on our own so that we can learn that and see that instead of relying on other people. Unlocked doors, and that doesn't make it fun. It can be very unfun. Unlocked doors. Open up to the new. No more time to feel so blue. Change the music that you feel. It's time now to let go and heal. Crazy times lie ahead. No more time to lie in bed. Get up, get dressed, get outside. So many tears you have cried. You're ready for something new. The rest is really up to you. Take the road of far too few. You can bring yourself back out. I don't have any doubt. Pills and potions ain't the way. Natural herbs, meditate and pray. Sunshine daisies, dance in the rain. Only this will soothe your pain. New doors will be unlocked once your heart is no longer blocked. I'm glad you needed to hear that, and I'm glad you got to hear that too. So, definitely. One of the things I was thinking about during this was sunshine daisies, butter mellow, turn this stupid fat rat yellow. And when Hermione, Harry, and Ron first met each other, Hermione was really rude to Ron, like completely rude to him. Every turn, very judgmental, snotty, kind of had her nose up in the air. But a lot of that was because she was very hurt. She didn't have any friends. She was constantly being bullied. She was very knowledgeable, had a lot of wisdom. She really loved learning, and a lot of people really were very cruel to her because of that. And so, as a defense mechanism, she was really cruel to a lot of the people around her that reminded her of the people that were less intelligent than her and that had treated her like crap. And Ron just happened to be one of those people. But underneath the surface, Ron was a really good person who ended up being one of her best friends. And same with Hermione. She was a really good person that ended up being one of his best friends. Of course, that was also after he was making fun of her with a group of bullies. And he caught her crying because of it. And it was like, oh, what did I just do? And so sometimes you learn from those things and you don't even realize that those things are hurtful or cruel or bullying or harassing or anything of the sort until you go through that. Oh, that I loved the first book. That book came to me at the best time ever. It was right at the end of being molested, and I finished the book about the time that he was arrested. And when I went to foster care, that was the weekend that they released it in the theaters. And the foster parents I ended up with for the weekend actually ended up being really good people. They knew what I had gone through and what I was going through, and they also knew how much I loved Harry Potter and that I had just finished reading the first book and decided to take me to that movie. It was amazing. Another thing that popped into my mind was I'll Still Have Me. There's a song called I'll Still Have Me. At the end of the day, regardless of who goes in and out of your life, you still have you. And at the end of the day, you still have to take care of you. You still have to love you. You still have to see yourself as somebody worthy and valuable and amazing, regardless of whether or not anybody else has seen that in you, recognized that in you, or acknowledged it. This message has come out so often lately. Grape apes and pink panthers, is that all there is? Some are even a mix of the two. It seems like everyone I meet romantically is either a sneaky, sleuthing detective great at lying and cheating, or a gaslighting shapeshifter bully who's great at acting, lying, and cheating. I remember the good things about them now. I release the past. I have learned a lot, and now it's time for new. It's time for everything to pick up pace. Don't be scared now. It's time, and you're ready for it. Hitting it big, and there's no stop in sight. You have thrown down your sword, and you have picked up faith. This faith is changing your life. This was the final test. All that you have been waiting for is here. It's time to speak your truth fully and share your story. So, there are a lot of people in my life that have done me dirty and that have really been quite cruel at points. There is a lot of good people in my life who have done that. I was talking to my daughter recently. She messaged me and was saying something about I hate dad and blah 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 blah. And I asked her why, and she described some of the things going on, and I was like, well, you know what? Your dad loves you. And you were sick today, so he doesn't want to bring you down here, especially since your sister was sick last weekend. She didn't get to come down here either while she was sick to come pick you up from school. And so that's just the way it is. And I know it sucks, but at the same time, he does love you. Hate's a very strong word, and you shouldn't be hating him for something so small. I know your dad can be an ass sometimes, and I know he's yelling right now, and you're upset about him yelling, and that's a lot of the reason why I moved away from that, because I don't like being around that toxic energy. And I can understand where you're coming from. At the same time, he does love you. And he does do a lot of good things for you. There's a lot of good things that he does for you. He does a lot more than a lot of fathers have done for their children in past times. So regardless of how I feel about him and regardless of the nasty things that he has done to me, he has done a lot of good things as well. And there's a lot of good things that I've discussed that he's done. And that's where you're starting to really put people together as a whole. Not just yourself, but everyone else. When we are judging other people, we're judging ourselves 10 times more harshly. You can guarantee it, because we always judge ourselves the worst. And so we all have a shadow and a light side. If you're judging other people's shadow sides and you're refusing to let go of it, refusing to forgive it, then you're refusing to let go of your own. You're refusing to forgive it. You're refusing to see the beautiful things about you behind the shadows that are going on within you as well. And you're holding just as many grudges against you as you are against the people around you. So it's time to really let go of those grudges. It's time to stop this war that's going on. And this actually almost looks like two guys sitting in little machines, like attacking each other, is kind of what I was seeing when I said that. It could also be a bug. It could be a moth or a butterfly. It could be all different kinds of things. What are you seeing in this right now? And how does that relate to the conversation at hand and what's going on inside of your life? There's all different kinds of things you can see in here. And actually, this side looks like two women sitting in that, fighting each other. Instead of the two guys of the other side, it actually almost looks like two women fighting each other. And a lot of times, when it comes to women or men, there's a lot of competition between men, and there's a lot of competition between women. Sometimes there's competition between the sexes, but it does seem to be worse when it comes to the same sex sometimes. Like you're all fighting each other instead of working together. And that includes opposite sexes. Everybody should be working together instead of everybody constantly fighting each other. And I feel like that's a lot of the energy that's coming into play right now, is learning how to work together, learning how to support each other, learning how to stop locking heads with each other all the time, and really being able to compromise and come to an agreement and a middle road instead of I have to be right and I have to be right. It's both of us are right in our own ways, and there are two perspectives to this, and then there's a middle ground too. And really being able to see the whole story instead of just your side, but everyone's side from everyone's perspective. I need to grab a drink really quick. And once again, in between messages, if anybody wants to be able to purchase a question or donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish lists in the description box below. Truly appreciate you guys, and thank you for all that you do. Liking, sharing, commenting, subscribing, anything like that. You guys are amazing, so thank you. Thank you for supporting me and the work that I'm doing and the channels that I have going and my ability to be able to provide for myself. I really appreciate you guys. So, Hawk. Optimistic, decisive, strategic, creative. Rebirth, guardianship, fearlessness, protection, memory. Be perceptive about others. Don't allow situations or people to deceive you. Be on guard and don't lose faith in your perceptions, whether others cause doubt or not. And that also is being on guard. That's and seeing through things. That is not being defensive. That's a different thing. You have vision and intuition. The hawk is calling on you to rely on it. See these situations from a higher perspective. A higher perspective isn't hating people because of the hurt they cause. A higher perspective is realizing that these people are hurt and that's why they're hurting people. That doesn't mean you have to keep them in your life. That doesn't mean you have to be around them. That doesn't mean you have to allow them to hurt you. What that does mean is that they are hurting people because they are hurt, and letting it go and allowing it to just fall away, forgiving it. Forgive me my trespasses as I forgive those who trespass against me. If you want to be forgiven, then you need to forgive. And that's, if you want to be forgiven by yourself, then you need to forgive others, because you're not going to be able to forgive you if you don't forgive others. I learned that at a very young age with a very harsh lesson, because I had to be able to forgive myself for allowing my younger sister to be molested because I didn't say anything about what was going on, so that I had to forgive my molester in order to forgive me. And granted, yes, I was a child, and yes, there was many different things going on that you can use as excuses for why I didn't speak out and say anything. But I still did have the choice to speak out and say something. But I didn't, because I didn't want to ruin everything for everyone for me. And, you know, that's still an excuse at the end of the day, because if I would have said something, my younger sister would not have been hurt. And that's the whole thing, is being able to forgive others so you can forgive yourself, being able to love others so you can love yourself, being able to see the beauty in each situation and each person so that you can see that beauty in you even on your darkest days, and being able to accept that your darkest days are you too, as much as your brightest days are, those darkest days are too, and all of it is beautiful. It's time to take flight and reach for the skies. Trust your instincts in making decisions or completing tasks. The universe is helping you to expand your knowledge and learn lessons. It's kind of like taking my carburetor out and putting it back in this week. I watched somebody do that once and kind of helped with it a little bit about a year and a half ago. And that's the only experience I have with taking a carburetor out. And a carburetor is one of those things that most people don't want to work on, because it's one of the harder things. But I needed that done, and there's nobody around to do it. So who's going to do it? I'm going to do it, because I need to take care of me. Regardless of whether or not I think I can, I still need to do it. The universe is helping you to expand your knowledge and learn lessons. Hawks represent messengers of the spiritual realm, and you are being guided through these lessons to the highest good. Trust in that and the nudges that you're receiving. Unresolved issues need to be discussed. It's time to communicate, and you're being called to lead the way. It's time to clear the rubble and to rebuild your tower with a more firm, solid, and strong foundation. Positive affirmations are important at this time. Free yourself of the anxiety, take a deep breath, and make your move. Only you know what you really want to achieve. Believe that it can happen. So, there is a need to communicate. There's a need to talk to others. There's a need to bridge that gap and bridge that distance. There's a need to create peace and harmony with those that you love. And you're the one being called forth to bring that peace and harmony, because you are a peacemaker, you are a light worker, you are somebody that is looking to create a better planet, and it starts at home with you. It starts with you being able to acknowledge and release the things that you need to release, the pride, the ego, the hurt, the pain, the anger, the everything, to be able to move through this and to create peace through your communication and your words, because you are very capable of doing exactly that in your life. And all it takes is that leap of faith, that belief in yourself, that trust in your intuition, that trust in what you're being guided and led towards, and allowing yourself to jump into it, regardless of what bad things may or may not happen. Zebra, swan, dragonfly. Things may be up and down right now. Remain respectful, peaceful, and balanced. Don't become frustrated. You're a visionary and you're able to navigate effectively through the turmoil because you see things differently. You are very connected to your intuition and your insight at this time. You are a very different individual, an individual who likes freedom and will do anything to obtain it. Don't let others stand in your way. You always get back up. Obstacles are stepping stones in the right direction. There may be a need for balance and for order in your life. Take pride in your accomplishments, but remain humble. Glory and joyfulness are coming into your life. Happiness and good finances are coming. Prosperity and luck are on your side. And it's funny, I keep being told that myself as well. And yet, I still have a lot of days where I don't have the money for the things that I need. But they do pop up anyway. The things that I need a lot of times come to me. And it's okay that right now I'm not able to provide it all for myself, but I will be able to. And that is going to come. And if it wasn't for that belief in that, then you wouldn't be able to stay on your path. So apparently there is some belief in that, but that belief needs to be stronger than your worries, your fears, and your doubts. And it needs to really start taking over your life. That faith needs to start stepping out front. Be pure, go with the flow, enjoy the company of others. Grace, beauty, and dignity are qualities that you possess, and dancing will help you to release any worries or anxieties. Transformation, change, renewal, rebirth are coming. You may be feeling unstable or insecure. Stand up for yourself and for your beliefs. A second chance may come. Don't let jealousy or attachment to believing things should be the way that you want them to be get in the way. So, and this is kind of like what I was talking about the woman I was talking to before, who was saying she doesn't really talk to anybody anymore. She just kind of hides away in her house because she doesn't want to be around people because of all the evil, cruel, awful things that have happened. But you don't experience any of the good things either if you hide yourself away. There's always going to be both. And right now you're being asked to get yourself back out there and to let yourself see some of the beautiful things that are going on in this world, to get out there and talk to people again, interact with people again, and know that everyone has their shadow side. And this person that you're talking to right now has a shadow side too. And if you're seeing that shadow side for what it is, you're probably right. But that's also where boundaries come in. That's also where speaking your truth comes in, standing your ground and saying what needs to be said instead of avoiding the confrontation or the conflict by burying it or by running away from it. Because every person you meet is going to have that shadow side, regardless of what you want this world to be. It's not all going to be light, and neither are you. Nobody is. And so really, you're not going to find that perfect relationship or that perfect friendship or that perfect family that you're looking for. You're going to find real. And real is not perfect. Real is messy and hurtful and painful and sometimes awful and cruel. But at the end of the day, there's still love there because it's unconditional, because that's what family and friendship and relationship is somebody that's going to love you on your darkest day. And in order to have that, you have to be that. For yourself and for others. Breaking Free. This is actually a new poem that I just put on my, well, it's not a new poem, it was written in 2020, but I just got it uploaded to my other channel. And that ND Storytime is in the description box below if you guys want to be able to find it. Breaking Free. Let the light in your heart shine forth. Listen to its call and find your true north. Break the chains of the past. free yourself at last. Allow your light to shine bright. Everything will be all right. As your mask falls away, you'll see the light of a new day. As doors close, you'll be shown the path that is yours and yours alone. So, you are definitely learning how to let go, how to close the door on the past, and how to walk through these new opportunities into this future. How to, whether that be repairing things or whether that be letting them go, it's still a new door. It's something that is going to be an opportunity to break the chains of the past and free yourself finally, to finally shed that last mask and to just be you and to be okay with that, and to allow other people the same comfort in your presence of just being themselves and being okay with that. Because everybody at the end of the day is a human being. And that's all we can be. We can be who we are. Do we want to be hated for who we are or loved for who we are? Most of us want to be loved for who we are. But not everybody is going to love you for who you are. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to hate you. Whether you're being a mask or whether you're being yourself, you're still going to get that hate. And so you might as well get that hate for being yourself and not being the mask. You will be going after what you want for you, no longer concerned with the thoughts or opinions of others. Abundance and fertility will be found all around you. You will be living a life that you are more passionate about, and you will be able to smell the roses because of it. You are leading others through your example and your inspiration. With great power comes great responsibility, and you take this very seriously. So, if you're taking things a little too seriously, you may need to just break out of that a bit and go out, have some fun, enjoy yourself, live your fucking life. What's the point of being on this planet and living if you're not actually going to live? So make sure that you're living too and not just taking everything so seriously. Yes, with great power comes great responsibility. But in order to maintain that responsibility, you need to be able to enjoy yourself and have some fun. There's this older person that was talking the other day about how loud this person's vehicle was that was passing by. And by the way, this person has a motorcycle and it's the loudest fucking thing in the world. And he passes by here like 4 or 5 times a day. And I'm like, God, that thing is so loud. And he's talking about how this guy's vehicle is so loud and they should make that illegal. Really, they should make that illegal. I was like, well, that's what they're trying to do with us sleeping on the street over here. They're trying to make that illegal. But there's going to be homelessness everywhere you turn regardless. And he's like, yeah, I get it. If they make that illegal, they're going to have to make a lot of other things illegal. Yeah. And then we're living in a fucking dystopian society. What is wrong with you people? But that's a lot of what is happening in this country right now is they've made people live a lot longer. And when people get older, they start to get a lot more upset about things that did not bother them when they were younger. And it's because they've allowed themselves to become miserable, old, and just everything bothers them. And, you know, when they say that you're as young as you think that you are and that you feel that you are and as young as you want to be, they're very honest about that. Because there are some old people that are extremely open-minded, extremely non-judgmental, really just looking to have fun. They're not looking to squash anybody else's fun. And then there's some very young people that might as well be 90 years old with the way that they look at things because everything is awful and horrible and miserable and this is too loud and this is too much exercise and every time I move I hurt and blah, 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 blah. Well, then do the things that make you feel good because you could be doing that. And instead you're going to blame it on, oh, I'm just old when you're 35. There are people that are like, I'm just old, and they're 35. Come on now. You're not old at 35. You're old if you want to be at 35. What's going to happen to you when you're 80? What if you live till 80? You're really going to be going, oh, I should have really used my 30s better because I wasn't old at 30. What is wrong with me? So, you are important too. Once again, you're going to be realizing, noticing, and appreciating that you are important too. What you want matters. How you live your life matters. What you want to be doing with your time matters. Take some time for self-care and self-love. Do more for you and do not feel guilty about it. Take yourself on a date. Dress up and hold your head high. I have gone places by myself several times in my dress because I don't got any other time to wear a dress. So I'm going to get my dress on. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to do my makeup. And I'm going to go to the local bar where nobody else is dressed up and I don't give a shit. And you know what? There's been other people that are like, ooh, I'm going to get dressed up and I'm going to go out too because they want to feel good too. And then there's others that get bitter and upset because I'm in my dress up clothes. Well, you know what? This is where I have to wear them. And if that's the only place you have to wear them, then wear them there. If the only place you have to wear them is going to a restaurant on your own, do that. Whatever it is that you want to do to make yourself feel good and to feel good about you, do that. You don't have to have people around you to be able to feel good. And that's also what stops that codependency energy in its tracks, too. Go on a vacation, somewhere that you can relax and unwind, maybe even learn some new things. There's a whole world around you, and it's time to live. Live like you were dying, Tim McGraw. Someday I hope you get the chance to live like you were dying. No more time to be a yes man or woman. No more time to give to others without a return either. And you know what? Everybody says give without expectation of receiving, and that's very true. I do a lot of that. I give to a lot of people on a regular basis without ever worrying about where it's coming back from or what's going to come from it. While at the same time, in my inner circle, if you're just going to be here to be a taker, then I'm not going to be here to be a giver. You have to learn how to be a giver and a taker because both are needed. A balance of the two is what makes things okay. If you're a giver all the time, then you are never going to get anything in return, period. And you can't blame anybody but yourself because you're the one who refuses to take. You're the one hating the takers instead of taking sometimes for you too. And when there's a taker there that is taking from you but isn't giving back, then you need to be like, hey, I realize you need this right now, but have you thought about what you're going to do for me? Because, you know, at some point you're going to have to give back something for me. And some of those takers don't even know that they have something worth value to give to you because they're thinking, I don't have anything to give. Sometimes what they have to give is something that is not the same as what you have to give. Most of the time, that's the way it is. Because when you're giving something to somebody, that's what they needed at that point in time. But you may have needed something different. And so they do have something to give. And maybe you're the one who can convince them that they have something that they can give too. And this is what I can use. If you happen to have this, I could use this in return for what I'm giving you. Fire ants, stingray, and hyena. So there may be a lot of conflicts that you are dealing with currently or that you have had to deal with in regards to doing the things that you want to do and not just doing things that everybody else wants you to do. You could definitely have been somebody who could have been a doormat for a very long time with very little boundaries where you were giving, and people were just taking, and you're sitting there at the end of the day depleted with nothing left to give and nobody there to help you out in any kind of way. And you may have came out of this. You may have been very defensive and aggressive when you first came out of this. You could have been very angry and upset when you first came out of this. But at the end of the day, when you were dealing with that situation, you didn't tell people that you needed something. You didn't tell people that you expected anything. You didn't tell people that there was something they could give you too. And so now you have learned how to tell people that there's something to give you, or that's what you're learning right now is how to tell people that there's something that they can give you too, and that you do deserve to be given something in return for what you're putting out there. And if they don't see the value in it, being able to walk away from that situation and finding somebody that does see the value in what you have to offer. Yesterday, I was actually discussing something about the song Gold Digger came up, and there was something about, you know, people getting upset at people because they're not willing to date somebody who has no money when what they're looking to do is build something with somebody who is actually looking to build something in their life, who has motivation, ambition, drive. They're looking to build somebody who's on the same, or build with somebody who's on the same wavelength as them. But here's the thing. So there's nothing to be ashamed of about that. But at the same time, when you're in a relationship where somebody's making the money and the other person isn't, that other person is still offering value. They're offering value in many different ways. I was a stay-at-home wife and mother for years. I was doing 95% of the cleaning, 95% of the cooking. Actually, I was doing 100% of the cooking for a very long time until he took over the easy one, macaroni and cheese. So, you know, and then my kids wouldn't eat my macaroni and cheese anymore because they only liked his. But I was also doing 95% of the chauffeuring. I was doing 95% of the caretaking things, like making sure everybody got the rest they needed, making sure everybody had the clothes that they needed for the things that they were doing, even when I didn't, because I really didn't have many things that I was doing. I was doing a lot, a lot. And the other person was doing the making money, and they were helping out in some other areas occasionally. But for the most part, all the other areas were on me except the money. So, when you are with somebody that is making less money than you, or somebody that is making more money than you really have to stretch to be able to see the value that the other person is offering, because they're offering a different value set than what you're offering. And both are important, and both are equally valuable, regardless of what anybody wants to say. Everybody's like, oh, don't ever date a scrub. There's a difference between somebody who has no money and a scrub. A scrub is literally somebody who is parasitic, never going to offer anything, never going to do anything, never going to be anything, never going to anything, and expecting you to do everything. Somebody who has no money may be somebody who works extremely hard and just has no money. They may put in far more than the person putting in money sometimes too. I mean, think about somebody that is on 24/7 call, taking care of children and adults, taking care of a house, taking care of the cleaning, the cooking, the preparations for anything that needs to be done, and how much they would get paid in a month, because it's probably more than the salary of the person that's bringing the money into that household. Unless that person is making really good money, it's more than the salary of that person. So, you could also be dealing with a lot of passive aggressiveness inside of yourself or inside of others. And when that's going on, it's time to take a deep breath and to really get yourself centered and calm so that you can deal with this situation with a rational and logical mind and perspective. You can still put your emotions in there, but your emotions do not need to take over and rule. Ration and logic don't need to take over and rule either, because that creates just as many problems. So it's a nice, even balance. A lot of today's reading seems to be about balancing out those things, the shadow side and the light side of everything in every situation. Emotions can have a dark side and a light side. Logic can have a dark side and a light side. Just look at all the nasty, awful things that were done in the name of psychology to get the information that we have these days. Like the experiments on twins in separate rooms, torturing one of them to see if the other one can feel their pain and shit like that. That is a very dark side of psychology, but there is a lot of light sides of psychology as well. Like me being here doing what I'm doing, because a lot of what I get is the 16 years of psychology I studied. White Witch, be the light. Hunter, track down your fears and your desires. This card came out recently too. So, it's time to track down your fears and your desires. It's time to really acknowledge and understand what is getting in the way of what you want and the dynamics you may be creating in your life that are upsetting the flow. I've had a lot of people recently asking me if I hex and curse people and things like that. No, I do not. I do not hex and curse people, period. Bottom line. I do not do love spells, because that is taking other people's free will away. And if you're doing that, it will come back to you in very bad ways. If you've never seen like Love Potion number 9, I don't know if I've actually ever watched that, but I know what it's about. Then it can create obsessive energy like that on your side or on other people's sides. It can create a lot of nasty things that are not good for you when you're trying to take the free will of another person, which is what a love spell does. It tries to take the free will of another person, and it tries to force somebody who does not love you to love you. So I don't even do things like that. Protection, reversal, shielding, things like that, no problem. But the rest of it, no. No. Things to heal, things to guide, things to love, no problem. But things to force things into being that I want out of pride and ego, no. So, being the light, being that hope in the darkness, being that bright, shining beacon of love. I was actually just talking to this guy that moved in next door, the one that somebody stole his tires off his fucking trailer. That is ridiculous. I still find that just to be so ridiculous. Wow. Wow. But he was talking about how there's a lot of cruel people in this world and all that kind of stuff. I was like, of course there is. There's also a lot of really loving, kind, beautiful, amazing souls in this world, like bright, shining hopes, beacons of hope and light, like the stars on a dark night that guide you and give you that hope in your darkest hour to be able to make it through to the next day. And then all of a sudden, this guy stops, which is crazy because around here, this never happens. Never happens. Around here, it's all, oh, you're just a lazy piece of shit and you're a drain on the society and all that other kind of crap. And a guy actually stopped and handed us all a $50 card for gas. And he's like, wow, to have that happen right after we were discussing that and you were telling me that is crazy. I was like, yeah, it's like it illustrated my point. It's like the divine beings decided to step in and illustrate the point that I was making about the good people in this world and focusing on those people instead of focusing on the darkness, the despair, the hurt, the pain, and the misery caused by the people that are just running around hurting people out of their judgments or out of their fear or out of their biases, whatever it may be, because those people have not been shown that light yet. Those people have not had to go through what you have gone through and have not found that light yet, but maybe someday they will. And you can call it their punishment, but karma is not necessarily a punishment. It's so that they can learn. It's so that they can grow. It's so that they can choose to be different from here forward, even if they were that way in the past. My dad actually had an experience like that at one point in time. The last fight my dad ever got into, he was sitting at his neighbor's house in a hot tub, and this other guy was there. And by the way, my dad did not have a job at the time. He was cooking, cleaning, growing a garden where they got a lot of their food, stuff like that. He was having a hard time finding value in that, especially as a man being the housewife, basically, and not even having kids to take care of, just being the housewife. And so he's at this neighbor's house and he's in the hot tub with this other guy who's homeless. And he's like 26 years old. And so my dad starts in on him how homeless people are a drain on this economy and this society and all this other nasty shit about how much of a piece of shit this guy is for being how he is. And he needs to get up and go get a job and get a place and all that kind of stuff. And this was also right in the middle of the economic collapse around 2009 to 2012-ish. And so everybody was like that at that point. There was a lot of people like that, kind of like when COVID hit a couple years ago and everybody became homeless. Well, this guy was not going to take his shit. He took my dad's face and he curb checked it off of the fucking brick underneath the trailer next door. And both of his eyes were completely filled with blood, black. He had a cut on his upper lip that went straight through his lip from right underneath his nose all the way down to his lip. It was about 3/4 of an inch long of a cut. He taped it closed, by the way. He did not go to the doctor. He taped it closed. I was like, you could at least try to put like super glue on the outside. I don't know, because there's a lot of people that use that for stitches. I don't know if that would have even worked with how gummy it was. It was bad. But he never talked to a homeless man like that again. He learned his lesson. He also never got into a fight again because he's like, apparently my fighting days are done. He kind of felt like an old tomcat that just needed to go and be cared for the rest of his life. And that's my own dad. My dad had so many fucking amazing, beautiful things about him, but he had so many not amazing, beautiful things about him. Just like my mom. My mom has some fucking amazingly beautiful things about her. I would not have the strength that I have. I would not have the backbone that I had if it wasn't for my mom. But at the same time, she has a lot of nasty, awful, horrible things about her. And she has a lot of pride, so she would never admit to it, apologize for it, or anything of the sort. And so everyone has those things about them. And if you hate your parents because of their shadow sides, then you hate yourself. because you have a lot that you have inside of you that is your parents. And every aspect of those things has a light side and a shadow side. And being put into a certain situation, that shadow side that is your parents may actually pop out of you. You never know. What I do know is I've been told a lot of those same things by people that my dad was telling that guy that day. And I wonder, looking down on me from where he is right now, if he remembers that time that he told a guy the same thing that someone else has told me that has hurt me so deeply. And I wonder if he would ever do it again. Probably not. Because I'm young, I'm able-bodied, I could be doing things differently, but I have chosen this path not because I'm a lazy piece of shit, because I'm working very hard on something that I find to be very important and far more important than money is. So, that's where I'm at. Once again, if anybody wants to be able to donate or purchase a question, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list all in the description box below. Truly appreciate those of you who do that, or anyone who likes, shares, comments, and subscribes on this channel or on D's Storytime, which is where you can find all my poetry, and you can find a link for that channel in the description box below. So thank you guys for all the support you send my way, for the support that I bring to you guys regularly. It truly does make a very big difference in my life, probably bigger than you guys know, and I thank you so much for that. My cat is over here laying on my cards. My cat is trying very hard this morning to get extra attention. I don't think she likes it when my attention's on other things. She doesn't want love when my attention's not on other things, but when it's on other things, she wants love. I think cats are a little more codependent than we give them credit for. In the opposite way of that clingy neediness, it's that I don't want your love. Well, I want your love now that it's on something else. So, you are starting to notice and break the karmic cycles, patterns handed down through time. Accept that your parents did the best that they could at the time with the tools that they had. I love that this came out at exactly the right moment, because just a minute ago I was talking about that. They loved you and they tried to show it. Although most of them didn't even know what love really was, neither did you. Forgive yourself as a parent or as a partner who didn't know how to love. Forgive your parents or partners too. Pray for healing for yourself and for all, and lead the way to victory. You have it inside of you to heal. Spread your story, inspiring others as you go, and really making an impact, but only through acceptance of yourself and others as human beings, and forgiveness of the mistakes of the past and harmful beliefs or actions can you acknowledge and lead a new way as a light worker. And some people will never give up the past way of doing things, and they will fight till their dying breath that that is the right way, even though they see the damage that it has caused. And that's not your fault. But what you can do is change those things inside of yourself, to realize when and where you have made a misstep, apologize for it, make amends for it, and change your actions to reflect your apology so that your apology actually means something. Because if you apologize and then you continue to behave the same way, that's not a real apology. Because you apparently didn't think anything was wrong with the way that you were behaving if you continued to behave in that way. So, and then when it comes to your parents, as much as they have a shadow side, and we saw the worst of them, we saw more of them than anybody else will ever see, because we were their children. We were with them on their darkest days. We were with them in their most despairing moments. We were with them during their stupidest choices they've ever made in their lives. And every bit of that can be found in us, in shadow version and in light version, because every bit of us came from them. If we don't acknowledge that shadow, we can't change it. But in acknowledging it and changing it, we also need to acknowledge that we do have that within us, and we could become that. And that they were not evil for being that. They were just being what they knew how to be at that time. And they were dealing with the situations the best that they could with the knowledge that they had at their disposal. And we have more knowledge than them, so we can do things differently. But if we wouldn't have got that knowledge from going through what we went through with them, we would not be doing things differently. Tropical breeze. It's break time now. Release, but how? Letting go can be tricky, especially if you're really picky. Let go of control so that you can be free. Delegate responsibilities, and you'll see. A break will give you the pep you need so you can continue to nurture this brand new seed. Remember to balance any needed things. Balance is the song that your soul sings. Find some peace and calm in nature's song. Such blissful release could never be wrong. So, it's time to let go. It's time to stop feeling like you need to be responsible for everything and everyone around you. And it's time to start telling people to be responsible for themselves, for their own happiness, for their own decisions, for their own choices. It's time to start telling people around you to step up and pick up the slack on the things that you cannot manage on your own, because you can't do everything on your own. Everyone around you really needs to pick up their part too and start doing things as well, not just you, because you aren't responsible for everything and everyone in the world. Flying high. I'm standing at the edge looking out over the ledge, a place that used to hold so much dread, but now I find peace in my head. Taking the leap, 1,000-foot drop, now I no longer want to stop. My wings unfurl and spread wide. Overcome with pride I cried. I knew I could do it all along, in my heart a steady song. I'm so glad I no longer stand stuck in place on that piece of land, watched over, protected, and seen through. A journey made by far too few. Grab your faith and follow me to the promised sky where we are free. 121:22. So now is the time to take that leap. Whatever it is that you are afraid of, it's time to track that down, and it is time to see it through. It is time to put on your big boy or big girl pants and to take action on the things that you have been wanting to take action on, but you have been too afraid to say, or you've been too afraid to do, or you've been too afraid to reach out. It's time to do that now, and it's time to say what you need to say and speak your truth or act on the feelings that you have inside of you. Reconciliations, creating peace and balance in the partnerships that you have. No longer allowing the fears and anxieties that you may have developed in your childhood to rule who you are today. Letting that all go. Taking care of yourself, taking time for you, resting, reflecting on everything that has gone on in the past, on all the things that your fear has caused to be more disordered and chaotic than it needed to be. Because fear can really cause so many negative things. It's ridiculous. So many people are so afraid of death, which is why everybody put on those masks and stayed in their houses when they told them to. What's the point of being alive if you're not living your life? That's what I'm asking. What's the point of being in this world if you're going to shy away from everything that you want to do or everywhere that you want to be because of fear and doubt and hurt and pain? Right now, it's the time to choose a different path, to choose the path that you want to choose, to know that through choosing this path, you are going to be much happier. Even if it ends your life sooner, you're going to be much happier for the short time you have left. When my dad was dying of cancer, he told me that he was not going to do chemotherapy. He was going to die either way. Chemotherapy may have made him live for 6 months. And he decided he's not going to do it. And I told him, he apologized. And I was like, I already knew you weren't going to do that. You might as well enjoy the time you have left instead of being sicker and alive for longer. What's the point of that? And that's the whole point. What is the point of being alive longer if you're not going to be living or having any fun or any enjoyment in your life? So those people that you avoid because those people are dangerous, do you even know those people? Have you even talked to those people? Those people could be some of the best people you'll ever meet, but you'll never know because you're too afraid to go talk to them, because those are the people you've been told your whole life to stay away from. Kind of like people being so afraid of homeless people. There are some bad homeless people. Of course there are. There's some bad cops. There's some bad judges. There's some bad teachers. There's bad doctors and dentists. There's been a lot of doctors and dentists over the last 5 years or so that have been getting caught for pedophilia. There's bad people in every category of life, and there's good people in every category of life. If you judge those books by those covers, you'll never get to read that story. And that story could have been the most worthwhile story of your life. But you'll never know if you let fear control you. Hi, Joey. Thank you for the encouragement. Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Joey. I really appreciate that. That is exactly what I needed to be able to pay back something I borrowed this morning. Thank you very much. So, I always love when this comes out. This is from an adult coloring book. And you know what's funny? Everybody gets so up in arms about swearing. Swearing are words. What power do they hold if you don't give them that power? I mean, come on. Words are just words, and they're used to describe things. I don't find anything wrong with swearing. My kids swear. Somebody was actually talking about that recently, and people's kids who swear, and they let them swear, and I was like, I let my kids swear. I let my kids be themselves when they're around me. I let my kids be authentic. I let them be real. I don't make them have to hide who they are to be around me. They shouldn't have to hide who they are to be around me. And they do know that there are places that you don't do that. There's places that you need to be more respectful and things like that. But they also know that when we are together, they can be who they are instead of feeling like they have to hide half of them. All for a few words that people find distasteful. Everyone is this sometimes too. You, as well as everyone around you. Everyone is an asshole sometimes. Everyone's a dickhead sometimes. Everyone is a thorn in somebody's side at some point. And that's where we're realizing and merging that together, that everyone is still a human and everyone is still worthy of love, life, liberty, things like that. Everyone, not just the ones that people deem worthy, but everyone. This rough patch has been so hard to go through. Know that you got this and it won't last forever. Soon things will turn around. Look around, and what do you see? Problems may be everywhere, but solutions are too. So is a lot to be grateful for in your life, even if there's a lot to hate. Water and fertilize your lawn. Make it green. It's hard to do with so much going on, but it is so worth it. The better that you feel, the better that you can do. So do better for you so that you can do better for the other things too. When it comes to the toxic side of a martyr, because there's a light and shadow side of that too. The toxic side of a martyr is laying yourself down for anyone and everyone, being a doormat for all around, not taking care of yourself at all. Taking care of everything else though and everyone else. And then being pissed off and upset and exploding on everyone around you all the time because nobody takes care of you, nobody loves you, because you're so drained and you're so tired and there's just so much going on and all that kind of stuff. And blaming it on everyone else when you chose to say yes to everything that you chose to say yes to. You chose to go out of your way to help all these people. Well, choose to go out of your way to help yourself and to take care of you and to do for you, because you'll be able to do a much better job of taking care of everyone around you if you're taking care of yourself too. And then you won't expect your care to come from other people. And when they do care for you in the ways that they're showing care towards you, you'll actually see it. Because when you're doing that, you don't see the care that they're throwing your way either. Because you're busy thinking you're doing everything. You deserve so much better than you're dealing with right now. It's time to love you. It's time to set some boundaries. It's time to cut off connections with extremely disrespectful people. It's time to eat right and sleep right and focus on your goals. Don't settle for something so bottom of the barrel. You really are worth far more than you give yourself credit for. Your dreams are not impossible. Your wishes are just Your wishes aren't just impossible fantasies. You have them for a reason. Believe it and achieve it. Don't let others dictate your actions, and don't blame them if you don't take action. Because the only person you can blame when you don't take action to make your dreams come true is yourself, not anyone else. It doesn't matter how much support you didn't have. It doesn't matter how many people weren't on your side or how many people went against you. The only person that you can blame if you don't achieve what you want to achieve is yourself. You can't blame anyone outside of you, because you were the one with the power in your hands to take action to go after what you believed in. You were the one with the power in your hands to decide, I don't believe what you believe. I'm not going to think of myself the same way you think of me. I'm not going to let your opinions drag me down. I'm not going to let you talk me into believing I am worth less than I am. Because I am worth as much as I believe I am worth. And I believe that I am worth the most. So, me and my daughter did this together. And when we did this together, she drew this person right here. And if you look at it, I don't know what it looks like to you, but to me, when I first looked at it, I was like, why did you draw a dead person in the middle of this beautiful picture? And she's like, that's not a dead woman. They're praying. So perspective is also a thing to take into account. When you see something a certain way, somebody else may see it a completely different way. Doesn't mean you're wrong. Doesn't mean they're wrong. There is many different views that you can view things in. And there are many different things that can prove both of you are right. Because there usually is. This is definitely a time to pray more, meditate more, get out in nature more, find that grounded peace from the world around you, and to be grateful that you have the opportunity to do those things, that you have the space and the time to do those things. Take the space and time to do those things, and be grateful for that. It's time to really open up your heart again and to communicate from that heart. Not from the fear, not from the hate, not from the anger, not from the judgment, not from the despair, but from the heart, from the love that you feel inside. What would the love inside of you say to that person if it wasn't afraid of opening up and expressing those words? Because this new dawn in your life is going to come from you no longer being afraid to express those words that you have inside of yourself. Those words that could repair so much damage done in this world with the love and the light and the beauty that they hold. So that was today's reading. And I really hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Thank you all so much for the support you've shown today and every day. And if you guys want to be able to donate, you can find my Cash App, PayPal, and Amazon wish list in the description box below. Truly appreciate all of you who do that. And anybody who likes, shares, comments, or subscribes on this channel or my other one, you guys really do make a bigger difference than you know of in my life. And I really appreciate you. So thank you so much for being here. You're very welcome, Joey. And I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye, guys.